looking at Chapter 7, page 40. Double identity. Yeah, I know you missed a little bit. So basically she was left with her Aunt Merle. Were you here for that part, Markel?
Huh?
She's with her Aunt Merle.
Oh, yeah, I was here for that.
In this place in Sanderfield, Illinois. She likes swimming, and basically people are looking at her very strangely, and she knows that there's a mystery around a name called Elizabeth, but she doesn't know who this Elizabeth person is. Is that pretty much catching them up? Yeah. Okay, so far? Okay. So Chapter 7. Oh, they're at the Y right now. She went there to swim. She's a swimmer. I swim until my legs are rubbery and my arms feel like so much limp spaghetti. I've had the kind of practice where, as Coach Dinkle puts it, I left skid marks on the turn walls. But as I haul myself out of the lap lane, I can't convince myself that I'm wrong about the woman in the locker room, Tammy. I've tried every theory I can think of. My best two are that she's crazy or that I just misread her expression because I didn't have my glasses on. But I'm not so nearsighted that I couldn't see someone standing right in front of me. And she seemed perfectly sane, except for the little matter of acting like she'd seen a ghost. Done? Asked Merle, handing me my towel. I'm not sure what she's been doing for the past 2 hours, but she starts glancing around nervously as soon as I'm out of the water. She's right behind me as we walk into the locker room. I feel like I have an escort. Maybe this is what it's like to be the president, always surrounded by Secret Service officers. The locker room is empty. Tammy and her little girl must have left a long time ago. But Merle still peers around anxiously, as if another Tammy might pop up at any minute. I'll grab a shower and change in there, I say, because she's creeping me out. I pull my clothes from the locker. I hide behind the vinyl curtain of the shower stall and let the water stream over my body. When I emerge, fully dressed and ready to go, I find that Merle has stationed herself right outside the stall. The way she's standing, I'm tempted to ask, is the coast clear? But it's not a joking matter, and my last joke wasn't exactly a big success. Merle hustles me out of the locker room and past the friendly woman at the front desk, Ronald's mom, who barely gets a nod. Once we're in the car, Merle throws the gear shift into reverse and exits the parking lot so quickly that we're spitting gravel. She drives back through the town, silent and grim-faced. Then we're back in her driveway. She turns off the ignition. Neither of us makes a move to open the door and get out. We just sit there. Who? I whisper, surprising myself. I clear my throat. I can make myself heard. I have to. Who did she think I looked like? So Tammy was this lady in the locker room who looked at her really crazy, like she'd seen a ghost, and thought she looked just like someone, but we don't know who yet. Chapter 8. Merle's expression reminds me of those speeded-up Doppler radar views on the Weather Channel, where violent storm systems spin and collide and zoom away, all in a matter of seconds. She looks surprised and relieved and angry and defensive and sad, very sad. Then resigned. I can't tell you, she says. I'm sorry. I promised your father I wouldn't talk about that. Disappointment pours over me. I muscled up the courage to ask, don't I deserve a better answer than that? A real answer? Merle is still watching me. Get out of the car, Merle, I think bitterly. Walk away. That's how my parents deal with questions they don't want to answer. My anger surprises me because I've never quite counted up all the unanswered questions before. I have a whole lifetime's worth. Where did you live when you were a little girl, Mommy? Why don't I have a grandma and grandpa like Gretchen and Emily and Tommy and Michael do? Why do we have to move again? Why is everyone else's mommy and daddy younger than my mommy and daddy? Are you mad at me? How come everybody else in my class has a brother and sister and I don't? Why are you crying, Mommy? Where are you going, Daddy? Why are you leaving me here? Where are you now? So this is just like what she's talking about, a lifetime of unanswered questions, right? Tears rush into my eyes, but I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to be like my mother, weak and sniveling and frail. I'm taller than her. I outgrew her. I do not cry. I am fierce and strong, and I just swam 2 miles. And Merle is still watching me. She didn't get out of the car and walk away. I take a deep breath, very deliberate, steadying. Is it Elizabeth, I ask? Do I look like Elizabeth? Merle doesn't have to say yes or no because I see the answer in her eyes, her gentle, kind, not so good at lying eyes. How did you find out about Elizabeth? She asked. My mind races, searching for a lie that will free Merle from her promise to my dad. If I pretend to know everything already, she can't get in trouble for telling, can she? But I'm not very good at lying either. I don't have any practice. My parents were always right there watching me, so I never got a chance to make up alternate versions of my life that anyone would believe. I don't know about Elizabeth, I admit. I just heard the name. But can't you tell me now? Merle looks heavenward, or at least toward the ceiling of her car. Then she looks back at me. Bethany, she says gently, you have to understand. I'm a teacher. I've spent my life taking care of other people's children, shaping them and molding them and trying to do my best to have them turn out right. After all these years, I've come to accept that there are limits to what I can do for somebody else's child, even when it breaks my heart, even when I think the parents are wrong. You think I should know, I choke out. I do, Merle agrees, but I won't tell you. I'm shaking my head, angrier than ever. That's not fair, I complain. Merle takes her hand off the steering wheel and lays it over mine. Don't think too badly of your parents, Merle says, still in that infuriatingly calm voice. They're doing what they believe is best for you, and I have to say I only raised one child of my own, but it was no easier, supposedly having all the power, all the control. I'm one step away from rolling my eyes, morphing into a teenager, as my friend Lucy calls it. She has 3 older brothers and sisters, and she's had years of observing their obnoxious teenage behavior. She claims to have done her first successful eye roll at age 5. She's a master at it. Here I am, almost 13, and I've never gotten a chance to perfect my technique. It's hard to roll your eyes at someone who's sobbing. If, Merle begins, then breaks off listening. The phone is ringing inside her house. Both of us spring out of the car, bound up the stairs to the back door. It leads into a covered back porch, and then there's another door into the kitchen. Merle fumbles with keys. I jerk on the doorknob, even though I know the door is locked. Finally, the door is open. We both spill in, then zoom across the kitchen floor. I reach the phone first. Hello, I shout into the receiver. Daddy? I hear a click, then a dial tone. Hello, I say again. Hello? No one's there, Merle says gently. He hung up. He didn't wait. And even though I am fierce and strong and just swam 2 miles, I feel myself sinking toward despair. I slide down toward the floor. Merle catches me. It might not have even been him, she says. If it was, he'll call again. Don't you have caller ID, I ask? Or can't we do a dial back? It's star something, I think. Star 69 or 67 or... I'm reaching back up toward the phone, maybe reaching for a phone book to look up the right number, but Merle's shaking her head. No, she says apologetically. My phone company charges extra fees for fancy stuff like that, and I never had either of those services installed. I just never needed anything like that before. But don't worry, he'll call back. I drop my arm, and Merle hugs me tighter. I picture the 2 of us in a movie scene. A grandmotherly type and a preteen girl clutching each other, slumped on the linoleum floor of an old-fashioned kitchen, the phone cord dangling above us. The scene is too stark for the kind of movies I'm used to seeing. Hollywood would have to add a sarcastic voiceover to lighten the mood, something like, and then I learned that if you have to be abandoned by your parents in a thicket of mysteries, it's not so bad to be left with someone like Merle, who's used to comforting 5-year-olds for a living. Just try to pick a Merle who also believes in caller ID. In real life, I'm far gone to appreciate sarcasm. I'm too far gone to appreciate sarcasm. All I can do is clutch Merle and try not to cry. Does this picture that they describe help you to visualize Merle and Bethany clutching each other on the linoleum floor, slumped together? Can you imagine that in your mind? You almost picture it like a movie. That would be a goal that you want to do when you read, because it helps to comprehend whenever you visualize. All right, we're going to go ahead and read chapter 9 as well, because it's very short, and then we'll stop for the day. So chapter 9. Bless you. Eventually we get up off the floor and fix lunch. It's an odd transition. 1 minute I'm slumped over on the linoleum, lost in despair. The next I'm standing with Merle in front of a cabinet examining her collection of Campbell soups. I'm sorry, I just don't keep much food around, she says. I'm sure you're used to better than this. Hillary's such a great cook. I don't tell Merle that my dad and I have been living on budget gourmet and lean cuisine and Stouffer's for the past few months. Freezer to microwave to table in 5 minutes or less. It occurs to me now, standing in front of Merle's cabinet, that I could have made more of an effort. Mom did teach me how to cook, back in the days before the constant sobbing. I could have at least boiled some water, thrown in some spaghetti, heated up some jarred sauce, fed myself and my father. You don't know what it was like, I want to protest to somebody, maybe Merle. Living with all that crying, it saps your spirit. It makes you feel like you don't deserve anything better than budget gourmet. What's budget gourmet? You guys understand what they're talking about there?
Like, maybe like the microwave.
You've probably heard of lean cuisine, right? It's like a microwave meal that you buy in the freezer section, and yeah. So before all the crying, her mom used to cook a lot. So we know Mom's been in a bad place for a while, right? Crying and supposedly they went to get her help, but it almost feels like maybe something else more is going on, right? Merle hasn't accused me of anything, and some form of pride stops me from saying anything bad about my parents. In the end, we settle on tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Here's a pan. Why don't you heat up the soup while I make the sandwiches, Merle says. It strikes me as incredibly quaint and old-fashioned, even touching, that Merle expects me to cook the soup on the stovetop instead of the microwave. I can go to the grocery store this afternoon, Merle says as she slices cheese. I'll lay in some supplies in case you're here for a while. How long, I want to ask? What's a while? That maybe Merle promised my dad not to tell me that either, and I'm worn out. It's easier to keep our conversation on the level of tomato soup versus chicken with stars, and do you like lots of cheese on your sandwiches or just a thin layer? Then I look over and Merle's biting her lip, grimacing. I remember, my daughter always hated going to the grocery store with me once she got to be your age, Merle says in a too loud, too careful, artificial voice. You can stay here while I go. I could download some movies on the TV for you, or if you like. I stir milk into the soup and watch the whirls of white turn red. I don't think Merle is really worried about my hating grocery shopping. She's scared we'll run into another Tammy. She doesn't want me to be recognized again. But suspecting that, knowing that, doesn't do me any good. I'm not sure whether I should call Merle's bluff or whether I should just play along. I have no compass for navigating this situation. But it's cozy in the kitchen, stirring soup, smelling grilled bread. It seems so normal. I crave normalcy, even if it's just a facade. What does facade mean again? Remember?
No.
Even if it's just fake.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of like fake. How dare I move the school computer off of his phone?
That's illegal!
No, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about me yelling.
Yeah. He tried to slam the door, but the door was going so slow.
Doesn't slam very easily, does it? Y'all are not helping. Stop. Alright, what question does Bethany ask Merle? So she finally asked the question that's been the biggest question of the book. What was the one she asked her? They were sitting in the car, and she said,
Who's Bethany?
Close.
No, who's Merle?
Bethany is the person.
Merle
is her aunt. So who did she ask about?
Elizabeth.
Thank you. Who is Elizabeth? Does Merle answer the question?
No.
Not yet, but she wants to.
But she can't.
But she can't, 'cause she feels like she needs to honor the parents' wishes, at least now, but she doesn't agree with it. I like Marley. Marley's a good guy in the book for sure, right? She's definitely on good guy. You know what I mean when I say good guy or bad guy, right?
I feel like Bethany is adopted, and Elizabeth is a biological daughter.
Alright, so we're gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna show you the questions, and we're just gonna answer them, because I didn't have time to...
Do we have to write down?
No, you don't have to write the questions.
But should we turn it in?
No, because you're gonna use the back. So there's only 3 questions from Chapter 8, and then rather than me printing these, I'm just gonna let you answer them. Does that make sense? I'm gonna show you it. Wait, we read all the way to Chapter 9, too, right? So I have 3 from Chapter 8 and 3 from Chapter 9. So this is what we're gonna write. Chapter 8... Number 1. Oh, you sure can. There you go. That's all you got to write, and then you're going to write your answer to the question. So don't write all of them. Just write number 1, because you don't know how much room you're going to need yet. Write number 1, and then write your answer, and then you'll go down to the next line and write number 2. So number 1 says, what questions has Bethany always had about her family? There was a long list. We're not going to write them all down, but let's think of some of the big idea ones.
She didn't have much family, did she didn't?
Yeah, like, so why doesn't she have grandparents?
Why did she now come here?
Why doesn't she have,
Why did they move?
why don't she have siblings?
Why doesn't she have siblings? Why are her parents older than most other parents? That was one of them. So we're just going to kind of list the things instead of writing them out in question form.
So can we
So I'm going to put a question mark, and then I'm going to put grandparents. Yeah. We're just making a list of the things she's wondering about. Markel, how about this? Move your chair and put the rocking chair there, if that helps. You have to be doing this, and I don't know how you can see.
I got all that written.
All right, grandparents. So she's asking why I don't have grandparents. Parents are older. No siblings.
The only child.
Why are we moving? I don't know why I wrote that one in a question, but... So those are some of the big ideas, right? Some of the other ones they mentioned throughout the book are like, why have I never had a babysitter? Why am I not, she didn't go to kindergarten.
Why did her parents not work?
Why is her mom crying all the time?
Wait, hold up. That might be true.
Wyatt. Forever.
What, Sammy?
Did he just say daddy, bro?
I just farted. Hey, Wyatt. I like his sweatshirt.
Jada's like,
Wait, what position do you play, Brayden?
Left corner and then wide receiver.
you can catch the ball.
Yeah, I
For
shot
real?
it.
You catch?
I can't go. How old are your parents, Wyatt?
Not explaining this story.
Well, I know, that was hilarious. Wait, how old are your parents, Wyatt?
43 and
Lucky.
37.
Brayden, are you really fast?
My dad's 52, my mom's 49.
Anyone feel the classes with you?
My dad's
Nope.
I'm
63.
failing like almost all of my classes.
Me too, this is the only class that I'm passing. Yeah, and tech that.
I hope you didn't really want to play football then.
Huh?
I hope you didn't really want to play football too much then.
No,
Oh, yeah, let me take you
I'm
on.
actually passing all my classes.
You better get it together. Alright, number 2. Why do you think there have been no answers?
Oh, because the parents said no.
So like what, no listen, what they mean is, all these questions, why are there no answers to all these questions?
Because it's a secret. Because she wants to honor the trust fund for the parents.
So, secret,
Physically not able to.
not able to answer? Who's not able? Merle not able to answer. Parents don't want to tell her, right? But wonder why. So we talked a little bit about this.
What if she,
Do you think that parents are trying to protect her from something?
what if she adopted?
No, I think they're hiding
So I'm going to write those little predictions. Is she adopted? I'm going to put it like with a question mark. Or parents protecting her.
Oh, that's no count?
No, I know my parents. I
The-
know my parents. I don't know what you.
Because the purpose of these questions are just to make us think and kind of predict for the book and analyze what we've been reading about so far. Number 3 says, what strong character traits does Merle have? Well, I already said that she seems like a good guy in the book, right?
You just say it's a good girl, yeah.
What character traits? How could we describe Merle? Is she kind?
No. Wait,
No.
yes.
Is she honest?
Wait, who are we talking about, Bethany or Merle?
She would like to
Merle.
be honest.
She is honest, I think. She's basically saying, like, I want to tell you, but I just can't right now because of your parents.
Because her parents don't want her.
She seems like an honest person, though. She seems like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a,
No.
You ain't either. Wait, God, your face is.
she seems like a good person, like a, somebody that you can
Why
count
don't
on.
you show us pictures of her?
Huh?
Wait, we're going through all the questions?
Look at the front cover.
We're going through chapter 8 and 9 questions.
I'm the silly dude.
I think Merle's also strong. I don't know if we know how strong yet, but we will.
Like, is she a bodybuilder?
I don't mean physically strong, I mean mentally
Oh.
strong.
First thing.
Bro, I saw a
Strong
swole-
bodybuilder?
I saw a
Like
swole
Marcel.
Oh, that is not strong. I was like, that looks weird. There needs to be an R in there.
The exact opposite of strong.
What? Strong is you.
You're not.
I am.
I'm the strongest one in me.
Shut up. Bro, Jada.
Yeah, Jada's the strongest.
We are going to talk about chapter 9 as well, and then we'll probably get a little bit of free time if we hurry.
Why are you listening? Why are you talking?
Are you guys with me? Can I keep going?
Very important.
Can I keep going?
You just giggle.
We have 3 more. No. 3 more questions. So, we read chapter 9 as well. Number 1 says, what old-fashioned things did Merle do?
Oh, she ate that cereal.
Oatmeal?
No.
Oh, no, she named, what sprinkle is what she likes.
No, she says old, but it says what old-fashioned things. I think the main thing was that she used she doesn't have anything special on her phone, so she has, like, no caller ID and stuff like that. So we could say old-fashioned phone, but also, remember how she thought she wanted, it's not a big deal, but, like, the soup, stop talking, Wyatt. The soup, she was going to make it on the stovetop instead of the microwave. Most of the time with soup, it's really easy to just throw it in the microwave, right? So I'm just gonna put soup on stove. I think those were the main things. That they didn't have caller ID, they didn't have star 69 or any of that, which I don't even know if that still exists, but that was a thing for a while.
Did you know if you, like, call you put someone's number in, and you put star 67?
It'll call like an unknown number or something.
Yeah, and then you can put I did that to Papa John's, and I ordered a large pizza from my neighbor's house.
Did you really?
Yeah, that
Number 2. Why do you think Merle knew what Bethany liked to eat? Oh, that was the big one we were kind of already discussing, right?
Oh, her mom told her.
Oh, yeah, that was one someone said.
I wouldn't think so, because if the mom told her, why would she just keep it a secret and be like, oh, it's just a lucky guess?
Right? That's true. Why wouldn't she have just said, your mom
like,
told me?
Your mom told me what you like.
Well, and did Merle really even know Bethany existed either? Didn't like,
No.
at first, I don't think so.
No. But wait, why was she smiling when her dad went up to the front porch and her dad told Aunt Merle about it?
Merle doesn't really lie, so I don't really think Mom told her, but that's one of y'all's predictions, so I'm writing it down. I mean, that would make sense, sure, but it doesn't really feel like that's it, because you're right, Merle probably would have just told her the truth about that. So do we have any other ideas? Somebody had some ideas earlier. What was some other ideas?
About what again?
Somebody had said maybe Merle's actually her mom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said that.
No, I said that.
Is there any other ideas of why she would know that stuff? You think she's just guessing?
No, I think she, like, was there when, like, she was born or something.
Maybe. So maybe like knew her before. Okay. Alright, number 3 says, why should Bethany lie about her favorite cereal? Maybe not why should she, but why did she would make more sense, I think.
Because she didn't want her to know.
Why did she lie about her favorite cereal?
I don't know why would somebody lie.
I don't know that one.
Why wouldn't she just been like, yeah, that is my favorite. I love Fruit Loops.
Because she thought, Aunt Merle would, she would be weird about it.
So she thought Merle would be weird about it?
Mhm.
That's pretty good.
That she likes Aunt Merle. No. Not sure.
I think that's kind of it.
Do you know all these answers?
Well, kind of. I think it's not necessarily that Merle would be weird about it, but I think she was being weird about it. I
Yeah.
think Bethany was being freaked out about it, so she was like, no, you don't know that about me. I'm going to say this instead.
Yeah.
Because she's just getting really freaked out by all of this crazy stuff that keeps happening. So I think it's more that
But why did
Bethany is freaked out about all of these things that are happening. You need to make sure you're writing down.
One eye open, one eye blinking.
Is this our last question?
Yep. Probably almost out of room, huh? Alright, when you're done writing that down, you can turn it in. And maybe I will try to make y'all's copies for tomorrow.
I finished
We are probably going to try to get a lot read in the book this week. And then Friday we'll do a Dreamscape day. And I need to check y'all's ice station to make sure we all finished our first. Oh, I guess I shouldn't put that away. The next group's coming in. We're also reading Double Identity, but after we read Double Identity, I might change it up for my groups, and they'll do something different than y'all.
Bro.
You guys have about 4 minutes. You can talk quietly, as long as you aren't crazy or something.